Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Conan O'Brian here, and apparently I got the water to turn off. All I had to do was those two valves that wouldn't stay shut. I had to keep turning them over and over again. So, that's all I had to do. But we figured it out. So we're going to continue. Looked like the water or something. There was a small metal key left floating in the shallow pool of rancid water. Did I take it? Yes. I had no idea what it might open. Oh, it might open that, let's go back up real quick. Okay, not to that door. Worth checking out, though. The safety post had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? The door was locked. I could see a faint light within. Oops. There was a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what happened. Maybe the VHS tape I found could be useful. Yes, of course. I found another dead body. A sewer worker. By the wounds all over his face and body, I figured he'd been stabbed repeatedly. There was a key ring sticking out of the man's pocket. Did I take it? Yes, of course. I thought about the knife I had found with some disgust. As I carefully picked the keys from his pocket, I was almost worried he was going to grab me. But he didn't, did he? I was feeling even more sick from seeing another dead man. I didn't want to get any more blood on my clothes. But yet you're going to. There was a hint of fresh air here. I must have been near an exit. But I wondered, what did that key I found on the sewer worker do? And what was on the videotape I found? This must have been the other end of that ventilation shaft. Whoever used it could have gotten past that flooded room with this. I made my way up the ladder as best I could on my leg. Would I really need that gun or that knife before the end? I wondered what was on that VHS tape I found, or in that locked room. Should I have gone back to check? My head was buzzing with questions and tired thoughts as I ascended the ladder. Suddenly, as I lifted the heavy lid above me, I could smell fresh old pine trees. Conan's over. Oh, I saw you. Fuck you, Jay Leno. This is my show, damn it. You stay back there. You stay back. Right, right. All the late night talk show hosts. I gotta keep them away. Jimmy Fallon, stay back. I know the ladder leading up to an ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb it. Did I extend it? Yes, of course. I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. I'm sick of your shit. In a patch of smeared dirt and grass there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? Yes, of course. I slid the filthy wallet into my back pocket. I noticed it didn't contain any kind of gun permit. In fact, it didn't contain any cards or ID of any kind. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least. From the railing I could see over the woods and down to the entrance to the sewers. Had I come through there before? If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. My God! I tried the little key I'd fished out of the murky puddle in the sewers. It fit, and I heaved open the rusty door. The wind was picking up a bit. The night air had become strangely chilly. Hey, back off, you two. Back off. Craig Ferguson. I'm tired of your shit. Chelsea Handler, you too. The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting the decrepit structure. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to that old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Ah, like the final station, perhaps? See how these games are connecting now? Both pixelated, one with trains, this one at a train station. I'm just saying. Of course, the map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked, and the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned the water tower and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? Hey, David Letterman, fuck off. This is my house. The old train was ripped open and hanging from a shred of metal, as well as the broken fence was a dark stained patch of cloth. It looked synthetic, like some kind of outerwear. Inside the train's shell, I could see a few faint impacts, like wounds. Could they have been bullet marks? Was somebody shot there? The ground was well worn, though I couldn't really make anything out. I realized I was touching the gun I had found as I thought. Yes, it's calling to your inner darkness. Take out the other late-night show hosts. I can't go any further. Sorry condition of that place seems sad somehow, but also ominous. The ancient ticket booth was falling apart and covered in dust and grime. Stacks of paper lined the counter, faded remains of old schedules and reports. Among the papers were newer-looking sheets covered in scribbles and illegible notes. Come to think of it, the man in that house had kept similar scribbles hidden on his bookshelf, and he had notes on the water tower outside, too. I guess he could have been coming here. But why? What was he using this old station for? Pray tell. That's it? I can't do anything else here? getting colder out there, and I had to keep moving. Oh, I could keep going this way. That was the tower. This was the door. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river, maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. The fuck? Why? Why would you do that? Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back my credit card? Yes, of course. Hopefully I can find my driver's license too. Through the fence I could see a dilapidated outbuilding. I wondered if I could find my way around. Yes, of course, right here. Oh, I'm gonna get lost as shit in here. What? There was some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Yes, of course. Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after one page of names and lists. None of it had made much sense. The newest page contained several names. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Isis, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. Rachel, her name was last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. Who were all these names? I could only think about how much I needed to get home to make sure Rachel was okay. A few embers still burned within the fire pit. Who was camping here? Was it... One of the two folding camping chairs was knocked over, and there was beer spilt everywhere. Where did the campers run off to in such a hurry? There was a cheap two-person dome tent. Through the screen on the front, I could see two sleeping bags, backpacks, and a small cooler. Oh my god. As I peered into the tent and around the campsite, I kept thinking about the names in that book. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. Almost. A musty wooden plank propped up the stall door. It didn't really seem useful. Did I bother to take it? Yes, of course. I wasn't sure why, but I took the plank. That's all that's in here. The washroom stall was filthy and disgusting. I wanted to get away as quickly as possible. Don't look. No, 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 no. dry old picnic table sat lonely amongst the trees. It had carvings and marks from years of previous campers. As I tried to read some of the names and the marks, I idly thumbed the knife I'd found. If I wanted to, I could have carved something on that table. Did I? No. I slipped the knife back into my boot and left the table alone. You're just gonna make yourself look more guilty, bro. The plank I found was long enough to form a crude bridge, but I wasn't sure if it would hold. Did I use it? Yes, of course. It held. Yay! My God. 2 bodies, 2 young women, were half dug into a hasty, shallow grave between the trees. The younger-looking one was still face up, her dead eyes gleaming against my flashlight. They deserved better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? Yes, maybe you'll find something. Tried to cover them up a bit more, and I closed the younger woman's eyes. I fashioned a crude marker. I wasn't sure why, but I felt I had to do something. The girls weren't carrying IDs, so I couldn't determine their names. I only hoped that whoever had done this had done it quickly. I wondered now if they had a phone or something at their campsite. Maybe I could call for help. I was just at the campsite. Bloody fucking Christ. Did I cross back over? Yes, of course. I gotta figure out where the fuck I went. The inside of the tent was suffocating. Olivia, Daphne? By the looks of it, the fire hadn't been extinguished, it just died out over time. The inside of the tent was so... Where's the phone? Bunch of bitches. Those are the 2 girls I found by the river. They were on this list. Why was Rachel's name here? I had to get home. So, we gotta go back home now. Okay, let's go back home. Fuck it. I finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. Through the dense trees, I could finally start to see some light. I must have been at the edge of the forest, but I wasn't sure where the path ahead of me led. I could almost feel the cryptic notebook in my pocket as I tried to think about what it could mean. And where were the campers who had abandoned their site? Would I meet them too? Though the path ahead of me was less dense, I still felt guarded and wary. Who knew what was ahead? Being a late-night show host isn't all it's cracked up to be, folks. This is proof. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist for all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. I found the body of a security guard just doing his job, no doubt. His face was covered with blood from some kind of head wound. I wondered, was this flashlight his? Dug into the ground was a cracked old watch. First my wallet, and now this. Did I retrieve my watch? Yes, of course. The watch was useless, but I put it on my wrist anyway. Well, yes, it's mine, damn it. You can't have it. My God. Andy? One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something. My God, there's so much shit. There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off to other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear. Cobwebs have collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. Let's turn it on. The door was locked shut, and there was a little electronic box under the handle. A sign was pasted to the front that said, "Danger, closed for repairs." Fuck. The door was locked tight. It seemed to be connected to the power box beside it. Fucking hell. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellowed clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. My God! Our old break table. The layer of dust and grime only made seeing this sting more. I miss it. This is back when I used to be... This was the table we used when I used to be a writer for SNL. Yes, yes. Flip that shit. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out and the face was unrecognizable. Need to find a key card. Wait a minute. There we go. The door had been hastily boarded up. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented, like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked here. Another panel. Yes, yes, of course. Like a boss. A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take it? Yes, I did. As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. Almost like you have done this type of thing before. The locker was a complete mess. Hidden at the bottom, though, was a magnetic card. Did I take it? Yes. key card I found seemed like it would pass through this radar. Did I use it? Yes, of course. Some kind of ventilation hatch here. It looked like I could jump to the room below. My leg hurt enough as it was, but I couldn't see another option. Did I jump? No. If I was too chicken to jump down that broken ladder before, why do it now? There could be another way. What? Uh-oh. Fuck. Oh man, my leg hurt like hell. Fuck. There was a crumpled up letter on the floor that had been scratched out heavily, and it was hard to make out. Yes, read it. Most of the letter was violently scratched out with what looked to be a ballpoint pen. All I could make out was need to. Just don't drinking need. Norman. Who was Norman writing to? Who indeed? Poor guard was the flashlight I carried his. Looked like he had met his end violently. I only hoped it was quick. I had to get home to Rachel, but I couldn't stop thinking about Norman and Rachel were friends. Could he help? It wasn't like I really had anyone else to turn to. My leg burned with pain. I only hoped I could find my way through the dark path before me and get to Norman's store. Now, wait a minute. I found the hammer that I could use for the boarded up door. That's fucked. I can't go back there. I'm limping like a son of a bitch. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food in slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. Oh my god, it was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it? Yes, of course. I cleaned the card off as best I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this. I took the card into my wallet next to my credit card. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. I'd entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet except for the faint sound of a television. Blood on the keyhole, my god. Norman! What the hell? One of Rachel's old autumn coats hung on the rack. That was Norma's bedroom, wasn't it? What was this doing there? Oh shit. You're gonna murder this fucker. Inside the cabinet was a small but impressive collection of hunting rifles, shotguns, and even a few items I didn't think were legal here. One of the slots on the rack was empty. The gun I had found seemed to match the others there. If the handgun was Norman's, what the hell was he doing with it? The gun would fit there. Did I place it back in the cabinet? No, it's mine. I thought it weighed on me. I had a hard time parting with the weapon just then. You're goddamn right. This is mine. I'm gonna kill Norman. Cheating on me with Rachel. TV still flickered some indecipherable Jano. Oh no, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my co-worker and one of the few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd been shot trying to get up. His eyes were wide with shock, though they were already drying. Norman, what was Rachel doing here? Why did you have her coat? Norman, maybe you deserved better. You probably did. Did I close his eyes? Sure. I closed his eyelids down, shuddering as I did so. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace or if I just couldn't stand to think any more of what was going on. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. Kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. Rachel. The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? Yes, of course. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. Goodbye, Norman. I used the hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the useful things, postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. She stopped by for some tea. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. My God! Norman. There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape then. Yes, of course. What had I seen? Norman was dead, but I had no idea why. I didn't know how he could be involved in all this. The thought of him lying on the floor out there was sickening. The only comfort I had was the gun I still carried, but was it really a comfort or a curse? The rain was coming down now hard, but at least I was close to home. It couldn't be long before I got my answers. It was locked. This wasn't the right gate. The gate was locked tight. This wasn't my house. Where do I live? This wasn't my house. The neighborhood local post box. Letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at it? Yes, there was no return address, but the envelope was addressed to Norman. Carefully, I tore it open and looked at the letter inside. It read, "Stay away, she's mine." That was it. No signature, no other information. I had the wrong gate. This one was locked. I don't know where I live. I had entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. Rachel, come out and take your medicine. We all know what's going on here. I killed Norman and the rest of the crew because Rachel is a raging whore. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. Now, let's do this. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. No witnesses. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? Conan O'Brian lost his shit. The door to the basement, was locked. Where had I put the damned key? There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? Yes. I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the fuck? Locked from the inside? You're inside. Open it. Fucking dumbass. So much is going on. The door was stuck shut. There's an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. I must find a skeleton key. I found the last missing piece from my wallet. The old photo of Rachel, and I stared back at me. reminding me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? Yes, of course. I placed the photo on my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterwards, but by then it was too late. I quit my job and Rachel left me for Norman, so I flipped out, lost my shit, went insane and gunned everyone down. Our hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps was stuck, but I hadn't gotten around to fixing it yet. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. It seemed impractical at times, but it was part of what made that house home. Home. My laptop had been left on. It only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top drawer of my desk. Did I take it? Yes. I pocketed the key. The book there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey. Now that I looked more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. There was a suitcase on the bed. It was Rachel's. I remembered it from that trip we took out west. Did I open it? Yes, of course. I wasn't sure what to make of the suitcase. Contents inside were a few days' worth of clothes, toiletries, and a train ticket. Where was she planning to go? She was planning to run away with Norman forever. I couldn't let that happen. Ah, there we go. Oh, Rachel. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. Will! The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key here. Did I take the dirty old key? Yes, of course. I took the small key. Tried to remember what it unlocked. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. I put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck. The drywall was poorly installed. I might have been able to break through if I found something heavy enough. Like a sledgehammer. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? There was an old crowbar on the floor. Did I need to take it? Yes. I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. You're loving this too much, Conan. Time to go get Rachel behind the drywall that you built up and held her captive for so long so she couldn't leave. Wait. Can't remember where I lived. There we go. Oh, Rachel. Did I break through the wall with the crowbar? Yes. And I said, Here's Conan. With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a large hole enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Rachel, come out and take your medicine. A filthy looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all the searching, after all I'd seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel? Yes, of course you found her. Wrapped within the filthy rags, pale and still, was Rachel. She was covered in fading bruises and what looked like cuts. Her chest was a horrible mess of blood and dirt. I couldn't bear to look at it. The knife in my boot, the gun in my pocket, were they the tools of her murder? I thought about all I had seen and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on shaky legs and made my way back upstairs. Reluctantly exhausted from a journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. Maybe I would use some of Rachel's travel books and find some place to go. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again. Or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store, that forest water tower. Was I at those places before? Yes, of course. I didn't see how it could have happened any other way. I must have been the one to lose my wallet and its contents. But what does that mean? This was the old photo of that other man and his wife, I assumed. I found it in that house. There were a lot of disturbing things in those tunnels underneath that house. Maybe that man wasn't quite what he seemed. Well, what did I think? Was that man involved in the whole mess somehow? No. I wasn't sure, but the poor old bastard was good and dead. He was a victim, not a criminal. I could see my face grow pale and weak. I couldn't bear to look again. It's like I didn't actually expect a reflection. I felt empty and drained. It was the keycard I found in the factory, the one that allowed me to slip through that door. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's. But if that was true, what was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? Yes, of course. Who else would it have been, Norman? What were you doing back there? What a whisper. Was the letter I'd taken from the postbox? Who had it out for Norman? Who sent him that letter? It must have been someone from the neighborhood, or at least somebody wanted it to look that way. I wasn't sure what to think. Did Norman? Did he murder Rachel? No. No way. Norman had ended up dead himself. Whoever sent that threatening letter must have got to him. But who the hell was that? You know who it was. I still had no idea what was on that tape I found in the garbage. If only I found a way to watch it. From now on, I'd have no one to get angry with me for stupid things like buying this TV. Just thinking about things like that made me sick with grief. I never bothered to replace it. Stupid VCR. We only wanted a nice place to settle down, not this madness. dinner's here no more. Chit-chat over breakfast, at least not for us. I must have locked the door. There's no reason to return to the backyard. Until I've gone over everything and make sure I was perfectly clear. But are you? The mail still sat there heaped on the floor. How long had Rachel been lying in the basement? I can't leave. My old office safe sat on the floor. I used to keep tax records and other important documents in it. I used a digital passcode lock, but I didn't have the code. Maybe I'd left it somewhere. The names on that notebook I had found in the forest still haunted me. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, and Cheryl. Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. I had no idea what they meant. You know what they are. Embrace your inner demons. Going up. He was already gone when I woke up. Found the code. Time to go bask in my glory of anger and pain. There's a photo in there of Rachel and I when we first moved to town. In it, we were smiling outside the front of the house, which looked like a real mess. In the other picture, we were separated because I knew she was cheating on me with Norman. We looked happy, though. Odd. I couldn't remember who took that photo. Inside the safe was also an envelope. The front of it read, "Do not open it till I tell you." I guess this was a good time as any to see what was inside. Did I open the envelope and read what was inside? Yes. I tore open the envelope and removed the yellow lined paper inside. On it was a letter written in a hand that looked familiar. It read, "I know this whole event has probably been pretty difficult. You can't imagine how hard it's been for me to..." Well, maybe you can. That isn't meant to be an excuse, but, well, I hope you can better understand why I've done what I've done. Moving to this town seemed like such a dream. A quiet place to get established, to live out our lives, and to be together. But you know as well as I do that things quickly changed. Your drinking was one thing, but as you grew more distant, as you retreated into that world of yours, but it was clear you didn't need me as much. In fact, maybe you never needed me at all. But it took all this to make you realize. In the end, though, you may never forgive me for this. You may never forgive yourself, but this is probably for the best. You'll be healthier for this. I'm just sorry it had to happen this way. Rachel. She got pissed off and fucked Norman because I was reading books. What a pain in the ass. Seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. Maybe there won't be anything for me to find, but I had to take a last look. If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place to do something about it. Did I pick up the knife? Yes. I took the knife and kept it firmly in my hand. If I wanted to end it, I could do it. I could do it with that gun. Did I pick it up again? Yes, of course. It was like carrying an anvil, but I couldn't let it go, not again. Now that I stood there, I realized I couldn't go back into that room again. I had seen too much. Seemed like the mail had been there for a while. That was it. With Rachel gone, I couldn't stand to be in that house a moment longer, but I had the gun again, and that knife. This wasn't the only way to end this, I knew. But did I leave? Say goodbye to that nightmare forever? Yes. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plant had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. I had MRIs and piles of doctor reports, but nothing seemed to help, not even drinking. But I swear I tried to give it up. I know it. The sleepwalking never really went away, though. But I know Rachel had tried. I know she tried to be there for me, even when everything was falling apart. This night had unearthed terrible truths, but I knew it was a final act of a long-standing horror I'd been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. I wasn't sure what had happened to that other man I had found in that house. He seemed to be more of a victim. But what was his role in all this? Now that I thought of it, those sewers were a terrible mystery. What had happened there? I was lucky in my way to even find my way out of there. But I never did find out what was on that tape that I now kept. What might it have shown me? I had found the contents of my wallet scattered throughout town. Why the hell had I been out there? Had my sleepwalking gone to some new extreme? The thought that I couldn't account for my whereabouts, but knew I had been to that forest and even Norman's place, well, it was terrifying. I didn't know what that meant, but at least I had recovered my things. Hopefully, I thought, that would cover my tracks, so I wouldn't be blamed for all this. Making my way through that awful forest had been terrifying and confusing, but finding that book was chilling. What did that list of names mean? Why was Rachel's on it? It seemed there was a connection I wasn't quite seeing. Had I missed something important? I knew Norman wasn't completely innocent in all this. He was obviously going back to the factory, rooting in those lockers. That he brought that poor guard I had found to his end. It certainly seemed so, but I almost didn't want to believe it. After the factory, I thought I might find some solace if I could just get to Norman's store. But all I had found were more horrors and more questions. Now that I've really considered it, That's when I should have seen it coming. Damn, Norman. How did you get mixed up in all this? I know you weren't a perfect man, none of us are, but you didn't deserve this. Maybe whoever had done you in was responsible for the other murders that happened in town. At the very least, I was convinced you and Rachel were killed by the same person. I sincerely hoped you would find some peace, my friend. I knew I never would. When I had marched through the rain towards home, I desperately clung to the hope that this would end, and I guess in a way it did. But how could I have known how hopeless it all was? I had started to feel as disoriented as when I sleepwalked. To think of it now, our house used to feel so lively, so warm. But coming into the kitchen, I felt only a cold, empty tension. Every terrible thought I had up to that point was suddenly a possibility. But nothing could have prepared me. My wife, dead, ruined, discarded. Rachel's death was a terrible mystery to me, one that would haunt me forever unless I did something about it. For what solace can a man take in the death of his wife? What comfort can be offered? Rachel had been taken from me, and I might never know why. As I swung open the door and stepped out into the air, I caught the scent of wet grass and fog. Rachel, my beautiful wife. Just the thought of her again, cold and inert, shook me from head to toe. What would I do now? Who could I turn to? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbors knew. The front lawn was soft and giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I shouldn't stand there, but rather that I should run. I killed them all. That was a quick game, but it was good. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Conan O'Brian killed everybody? I think so. He got so lost in his work. Rachel went and cheated on him with Norman, and he just went apeshit. And Conan killed everyone. The end. Give it a like if you guys enjoyed. I love you guys. Andy Dick. Look, it's Andy Dick. That was a good game. I will see you all later on. Alright, my friends. Scuba Steve signing off.